Hey, y'all. Happy New Year. Happy 2023. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to give you guys a second to come on in here. And you can fill up my chat with all your wonderful Happy New Year well wishes. I'm Victoria, your credit solutionist, owner of PX Credit Solutions, where we help you secure your financial future today. Be sure to like up the stream as you come in. Likes are free. Just tap that button, okay? The thumbs up, all right? Even if you give it a thumbs down, that's okay too, because engagement is the name of the game, baby, because we are talking about our economic futures in 2023. We are not taking who we were in the year 2022 into our new life in 2023. All right. No more of that new year, same you stuff. All right. But I am your credit solutionist, as I said, and on this show, you are absolutely here on this platform because you know that we teach you how to grow your personal economy through the ethical and responsible use of your credit. So if that's something that you're into, be sure to come on in. And like I said, like and share the stream, okay? If you are new here, welcome. And if you are returning, you already know what to do. Come on in, take off your shoes, and let me know what you're drinking. I will toast you to the new year. I got you. Now, in the title, we talked about how to have a successful 2023 by burning your ships. Now, that's a really old term. And on the surface, it sounds like I'm telling you to totally ruin your life and obliterate everything that you have. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we have been carrying a lot of financial ideas that we have or self-perceptions that we have of who we are and what we can be and what we can obtain. Or we may have an inflated sense of self, like I talked about in the last live stream. If you are one of those people, it's time to let it go. If you find that you're the same person that you were back in 2019, 2020, 2021, well, there's something wrong there, and it's time for you to burn your ships. That is right, because you now need to take on a brand new mindset. And hopefully, after we have a conversation about some of the things that are going to be happening and what's going on right now in 2023, hopefully you feel inspired. All right. Now, coming into the new year, the first thing I want to do is I want to send my condolences to the manosphere. Y'all lost another one or another two. It seems like the manosphere drops like flies, but have no fear because they grow like weeds. Your boy Andrew Tate has gotten into some hot water over traffic violations. We'll call them traffic violations. And I guess you guys just lost an internet pimp as well. I wasn't familiar with that guy, but apparently that's a story on the internet. That's part of the problem too. The fact that so many of you know who these people are. And if you talked about them in public, nobody would know who the hell you're talking about. That is one of the ships that you need to burn, attaching yourself to social media personalities and getting your identity from people that are in 2, 3, 4, tax brackets above where you are. Okay. Instead of looking at what you think they're doing, you need to really peel the layers back and focus on what they are actually doing in their business lives. Okay. Because your eyes are giving them money. All right. They really don't care if you follow through with what they tell you to do. Back to the point. My condolences, y'all, because it looks like y'all losing them left and right. Okay. But what I want you to do is, because these dudes keep dropping like flies, and really it happens in the female space too. So I'm just picking on the guys because when y'all's die and stuff, it's so obvious, right? The ripple effect that it has through the social media space. So I do feel for you guys because you really don't have any role models, and that's an unfortunate thing, right? So what I want you to do, though, when these things happen, recognize that it's a revolving door. A lot of these people are saying some of the same things. So yes, some of the principles are true, but what I want you to do is listen to the principles, listen to the things that they say, and then I want you to evaluate your life against it, right? I don't listen to sugar baby content because I'll never be a sugar baby. If you don't plan on getting married and having kids, you probably shouldn't even be worried about whether or not you're a high value man. Nobody needs to value you because you're going to be single, right? You've already said that. So we don't care about what your value is like. Right? So when you really think about it and you evaluate your life, some of the platforms that you're on don't even make sense. But you know what? I'm digressing and I'm going ahead and I'm starting to babble. So I'm going to leave that alone. But yes, I want you to evaluate your life on a financial standpoint. And I want you to really look at what's going on with you, because you don't know what tax bracket, the man in black, Mr. Samuels, you don't know what tax bracket he was in. right? You really don't know what tax bracket Andrew Tate is in because you don't know what he has liquid. Okay. So let's be real about this. And I also want to know, how does whatever happened to them affect your life? It affects mine because I get to talk on a microphone and hopefully get some AdSense from this. All right. So yeah, that's why we're going on about it. But anyway, yeah, we have this issue going on right now that is affecting our bottom line in our personal economy, in that we are somehow just ignoring who we are, and we're attaching our identities to these social media personalities. Now, that's a big problem because it's a big reason as to why some people will not economically get ahead in 2023, right? We have an addiction to free game. We also have an addiction to doing as little work as possible to get the result. Like if I really wanted to blow this channel up, all I would have to do is get on the microphone or on the camera 2 or 3 times a week, show my butt. Like I'd have to do a shot from the back, and just kind of pucker my butt up, and then maybe get a wig or something like that, and then stand in front of a Mercedes G-Wagon. That's all I have to do. Literally, that's like marketing 101, because I totally understand how people's minds work when it comes to marketing, right? But is that the kind of client that we want? No, it's not. Anyway, back to the outline, because I do have one tonight, y'all. And at some point, I'm gonna stop telling y'all that I got an outline. But anyway, the other thing I want to touch on is that you got to recognize that most social media personalities and anything that you see on a screen is really put in your face for a reason. It's to get your eyes and eventually or ultimately generate revenue. So when you hear these, interesting talking points or salacious talking points, just know that it's really all about the person's bottom line that is talking to you. So that's the message that I have for the manosphere today. And also find out where your fathers are, because it sounds like you need them. Okay. Moving on. So last live, we talked about image over substance. So some things are coming out to the light right now. And that's why I want to talk to you about some things that are going on maybe around you in the economy, with your taxes, with certain financial I guess, benefits and incentives that we've been getting over the last 2 years, and how now the chickens are going to come home to roost. So I've noticed that a lot of people made some interesting decisions over the last couple of years. And during some of my consultations that I'm doing, I'm starting to see like, oh my God, this is actually like a low-key pandemic in and of itself. It's not even the Rona. Like the new pandemic right now is people that made tons of mistakes and didn't apply their funds in a legal and ethical way. So I'm a little worried about that. Now, let's get into why sinking your ships matters, and or burning your ships rather, and why 2023 is going to be a year of transition and changes for you. So one major transition that we're going through right now, that we're seeing in the economy and really in our pocketbook, is that the dust from the pandemic is starting to settle. That's a really big thing that's happening right now. The free money has essentially run out, and life is returning to the 2019 levels, right? So if you were winning in 2019, not much has probably changed, because now that everything's kind of turning around, you can go back into whatever industry you were in for the most part, and really just continue business as usual, right? But there are some of you that if you were losing back in 2019 and then you lost in 2020, you are probably standing to lose a little bit more as time goes on. Now, part of this is because our government is absolutely watching us now. As the dust settles, they are looking to see who's got their pants on and who, what do they say? When the tide goes out, you see who was swimming naked. A lot of that is happening right now. Now, I was reading an article the other day about Virginia. Let me see if I actually have it here, because y'all, this is a big one that's coming. Now, a lot of you might have lost your jobs during the pandemic, back in 2020. And right now, all of those unemployment claims, you guys thought they cleaned them all up in 2021, but no, they did not. They are still on the lookout for people. So if you were one of those folks, I am going to pray for you, because we're going to go ahead and look at what's going on in Virginia. Now, Virginia is not that big of a state, y'all. So I'm a little worried about what's going on over here, because let me see if I can find it here. Where is it? Gosh, because my eyes almost popped out of my head when I saw it. My lordy lord. Oh, I gotta open up a new page here. I was going to ask y'all in the chat if anybody here has cashed in on an unemployment thing, but I'm not going to do that because that might be a little embarrassing for people. So I'm not going to do that to y'all. But I know quite a few people that went for that unemployment. Now, I don't know if they were legal or not, but they went ahead and did it. So we just going to say that. Oh, you know what? I think I already had it pulled up. I sure did. So let me go ahead and share my screen with y'all so we can check out what's going on in the great state of Virginia, in the great Commonwealth. Because y'all didn't know this was coming. They coming to every little state, and they going to get everybody. All right, let's see. All right, yeah, so it's letting us share. All right, cool. Look at that, y'all. Okay. In Virginia news, it says 280,000 suspected unemployment fraud cases are under review in the state of Virginia. They are not playing with y'all. So this is hot out of Richmond. The Virginia Employment Commission is currently reviewing hundreds of thousands of suspected fraud cases, according to the VEC Commissioner Carrie Roth. Okay. Now let's see what they're saying over here. Roth said since March 2020, the state has distributed 1.6 billion in known and potentially fraudulent claims. Dang, y'all. So out of that 280,000 claims, they believe that they've given out $1.6 billion in fraudulent claims. That is insane. So right now she's saying that they're in the process of reviewing about 99,000 of them. And I have to say that I have some experience with this in that with a lot of the paperwork that I've worked on when I do the audits for Section 8, this is no joke. I totally believe what they're saying here, because this is another part where people have been trying to get, some free game, taking advantage of something they saw on the internet. And now these people are going to be in hot ass water. I don't know what y'all were thinking when 2020 happened. Like, some of y'all really think that year is just going to be erased from time. No, it's not, because the government came out of pocket so much that they literally now have to pay the piper, and they are the piper, which is so crazy because they were the ones that gave us the money in the first place. Now, let's talk about another article that I ran into on September 13th that talked about a U.S. watchdog that estimated $45.6 billion in pandemic unemployment fraud. I mean, y'all, this is like so insane. So let me go ahead and look, because this is something totally different. Now, this is how your life is. I need y'all to go ahead and shape up, or you got to get up off of this live stream. Now, look at this right here. There's a U.S. watchdog that says the $45.6 billion in pandemic unemployment relief was paid out. Now, in this article, it's a little bit different because they're talking about the unemployment insurance program that was used during the pandemic had people that were using social security numbers of dead people. Now, you know that this has a very strong correlation to the credit industry, because when you go with the people that are doing the undercover stuff, which is like the CPNs, which are the credit profile numbers, those are, or consumer profile numbers, that's fraudulent, y'all, because unless you're famous or in the witness protection program or something of that nature, you should not be using a fake social security number. But in this case, with the unemployment, they're using social securities of dead people. You do not know how much I see this in the affordable housing industry. Yes, we're talking about the Section 8 people. Yes, they do it. And they do it in a lot of other programs as well. So now we're adding another layer of assistance through unemployment. That's a problem, y'all. So at the end of the day, some of this cost is going to be, it's going to trickle down to us as the citizens as well. The main reason that I think this is going to happen is because if a lot of these people go to jail, I mean, call me crazy, but I think some of our tax dollars are going to go to fund their trips in jail. So that's, just something that I wanted to share with you guys as far as what is going on out here. So definitely be on the lookout and check your credit as well, because it's not just dead people that they're doing this with. If your information has been sold by a credit, monitoring company, you could be at risk for something like this. This is no joke out here. Has anybody in the chat been a victim of like identity theft in this way? And have you gone through whatever channel you have to make sure that your social security number hasn't been stolen to do an unemployment insurance claim, right? Do we know if that's been the case? So This is one thing, y'all. If you are shady and a shyster like this, burn that ship today, okay? Seriously, burn it. All right. The other thing with the California folks that I guess a lot of y'all didn't know is that a lot of y'all are about to be paying some taxes too, because not only with your unemployment insurance do you have to pay, because I think it was the year 2020 where you could write off or just kind of disregard like $10,200, but that's no more, okay? Because a lot of y'all got additional unemployment benefits as well. So again, the government is watching, the dust is settling now. So we got to get our economic future intact. Okay. We got to get things in order, right? So that's just a little bit about what's going on right now. The other thing we know is happening is the Federal Reserve is watching all of us like a hawk. Okay. We talk about inflation. Of course, I don't go too deep into it because I am not an economist. I understand it on a surface level, but definitely check out our man Diamond Dave because he totally knows this stuff inside and out. And we might ask him a little bit about that because he's going to be on the show on January 13th. That is Friday the 13th. So be sure that you guys come and check us out and bring your questions for Diamond Dave. All right. Yes, it is going to be a great show. Now, a couple of other things that kind of happened in 2020 that had a lot of people, I don't want to say full of themselves, but it had a lot of people thinking that they were in an income bracket that they totally weren't. A lot of the benefits that we received back then kind of gave us a false sense of, like I said, just being in a whole different income bracket. Now, in my opinion, the access to more amounts of money increased way too fast in the year of 2020. And it really did, like I said, give us an inflated sense of what was going on. And on top of that, we had, issues in the supply chain. So people weren't purchasing things as much as they normally would. So people really did have more money in their pocket. But as you know, anytime people of a certain income bracket have too much money in their pocket and they didn't work for it, what's the first thing they do? It burns a hole in their pocket and they just cannot hold on to it. We were at a time back then where we should have been putting that money into our bank accounts, into 401ks. Well, the 401k might have been a little dangerous at the time, but we could have, been using that money to, get some secure credit. We could have been using that to get some credit repair. I actually had a few clients that started with me using their pandemic assistance money, that's brilliant. Brilliant, right? But since we had those supply chain issues, like I said, the money didn't really go where I guess our what would you say, the economy, I guess, it didn't go to the places in the economy that it normally would have, right? We had ships that were sitting out in the middle of the ocean. Every time I flew, somewhere and then came back to California, tons of containers in the ocean just sitting there with nowhere to go. A lot of that stuff still has to be sold, you guys. But we're having a hard time now because a lot of people simply don't have the money because they actually blew a lot of their stimulus money that they had. Right now, let's talk about some other stuff here because I actually did have another article that I wanted to cover here because y'all know I'll be coming with these articles now. Let me see. Oh, y'all, I have my bank statement pulled up. Let me take that off the screen. Shoot, aren't y'all seeing that? All right, let's see. Where we going? Yeah, I got to get it together. I'm gonna need to get me a little assistant. All right. So I wanted to talk about the winners and losers from the inflation that's happened over the last 2 years, because I think you guys would be kind of surprised with where the winners are. Now, I'm sharing this with you because I want you to actually be one of these winners. Now, there are a couple of people that were winners and losers. Now, this is, what website is this? This is economicshelp.org. Now, they're talking about who the winners and losers were. All right. Now, due to the inflation, the people that were losers were savers. Now, they say this because the money that you have sitting in the bank is essentially worth a lot less when, interest rates go down and the value of the dollar goes down and blah, blah, blah. So we know that stuff. For retirees, whenever inflation does kick in, you remember like the rates actually will go up as far as meaning their money is going to be worth less. So if you're a retiree or another person, like a disabled person living on a fixed income, or if you get public assistance, you are definitely going to be a loser in that economy. So let's think about we're talking about the guys, the 7 million men that are leaving the workforce or have left the workforce. They're essentially more than likely going to be these kind of people that are on a fixed income because they're going to be on unemployment. Or a lot of them may even be guys in the army that just decided to leave and now they're getting money every month. I don't know. It's kind of a toss up as far as who these men, let's say workers on fixed incomes. So let's say you have a salary that you get paid. Your dollar amount that you get paid is not going to change annually, but the value of that dollar is going to continue to go down. So are you in a job right now that doesn't really show any economic growth for you in the future? This could really affect you in a real way. So what do we need to do now? We need to get more skills. We need to get better jobs, right? We need to really evaluate what the trajectory is like in our job. Can you even grow in the company that you're at right now? Because if you are salaried, and even if you're hourly, you actually are on a fixed income, whether you know it or not. The only ones that aren't are the people that work in sales. Right? Because that's where your money and things can actually fluctuate because of bonuses, commissions, and perks and things like that. Okay. So I know some people in this chat probably didn't even know they're on a fixed income, but you are, right? Every year, your pay is going to go up 3%. That's still a fixed income. What do you think happens when you have Social Security and SSI? The same thing. You get a COLA increase every year, but that income is locked in for that entire year. So the best thing to do for you to get another job or for you to get a raise is to get another job. So you actually have to job hop about every 2 years just to beat inflation. Right? The answer is not to go to school because you're going to be pushing yourself back with debt. The answer is get your skills up, get some certificates. You can go over to Udemy. They have a ton of certificates. If you want to get into like cybersecurity or something, I think Udemy is a great place to go just to get started. And then you can go look up anybody on YouTube or anybody on Thinkific. I don't even know where you need to go, but you can go and find where to get certified for maybe some kind of Google certificate or something, right? It's not always about going to university or doing something drastic like that, right? But it's burning that ship. Okay. The ship in this case is thinking that, getting a 3% raise every year is economically viable. It is not. Okay. Borrowers on variable rates. That's another. Okay. Now this one hits my heart a little bit deeper because I am in the credit space. So I actually promote you guys becoming borrowers. And sometimes when you borrow these, from these creditors, you are going to be borrowing with a variable interest rate because sometimes that's all some of y'all can get because of your credit. Right. But you are going to be a loser in this case, even you homeowners that have the ARM loans, because your interest rate adjusts according to whatever's going on in the economy, right? So borrowers with variable interest rates, I want you guys to get informed about what goes on with credit because a lot of you don't even pay attention to your interest rate, your APR. You don't pay attention to those things, but you need to. You better start reading that fine print. If you're not comfortable with it, give me a call. Okay, that's why you book on mycreditcall.com. Lord have mercy. All right. Now, the other losers, let's go ahead and brush through this. It says the whole economy from general economic uncertainty. Okay, exporters are less competitive. That is true as well. Now, in 2019, a lot of imports that were coming in from China were actually going to be subject to increased tariffs. Right. That was under the Trump administration. Right. So that was already happening way back in 2019. So, whenever something like that happens, when there's an increase in a tariff, well, that cost gets passed down to us because if China has to pay more money to get something over to the United States, then what's going to happen? right? They're going to charge the person, the company that's requesting the goods, they're going to, charge them more for whatever the product is, right? They're going to work that into the cost to get it over to us. And then whatever company is getting the product, y'all know I'm going on and on, but whoever gets the product is going to then inflate the price of whatever the good is that we get here in America, right? So we have an influx of crap merchandise that we're paying way too much money for. You know what I'm saying? So that's an issue there. So the winners, who are the winners when it comes to inflation? Well, the debtors, obviously, that are fixed repayment plans. So who is a debtor that's on a fixed repayment plan? That would be somebody that has, let's say, a car note, right? A car note is a set rate, right? So but let me rephrase that, because if you're the kind of person where you have a car loan right now, and let's say your car loan is double digits, well, you're not really a smart debtor. Okay. What I want you to do is I want you to go and get that thing refinanced. Okay. But the reason that a fixed repayment plan is a good idea when it comes to, getting credit history and payment history is because you don't have to think about that rate changing every single month. It's going to be one fixed amount every single month. Okay. So you can understand why a winner would be somebody that's on a, fixed repayment plan. Okay. Because you know exactly what to expect. The payment does not adjust based on the market. It basically is what it is when you sign the dotted line. Governments with high public sector debt. Oh, sounds like America, right? But in this case, the government is not winning when it comes to student loan debt, which is government issued debt, right, in the public sector, because nobody's paying that money back right now. As a matter of fact, I actually have a friend that's staying in school. She's staying in school in the interest to not have to pay her loans back. Okay. And she was very honest with me. She said, "Hey, listen, I'm never paying those bills back." Right. I'm not going to say who she is, but she literally told me straight up, "I'm never paying for this education." I was like, "All right, sister. All right." I would say that's a ship we need to burn, y'all. But I love her, so I'm not going to say nothing. But anyway, another set of winners, owners of land and physical assets. We're looking at the blue side here, just so you guys know what we're looking at. Now, is anybody in the chat one of these people? Like, are you in the beige side with the losers, or are you in the blue side with the winners? Let's see, owners of land and physical assets. Okay. Owners of land and physical assets are pretty much always going to be winning in any economy, right? A lot of people are still giving me side eye because I bought some plots of land in Illinois. Well, here's the thing. I bought those pieces of land at a deep, deep discount. I bought them directly from the government. So you know what? I already know that they're going to be worth more in a year or two than what I paid for them. I've already Googled what the average cost of is for a plot of land where I purchased, and it's $5,000 to $10,000. I paid under $1,000 for that land. Do you understand that that's a buy and hold type of investment? The taxes on that land is going to be like $50 a year, right? Are you thinking like that, or are you thinking that you want to go get that G-Wagon for $100,000 with that business loan with the business that doesn't generate the income to make the car note? Yeah, I went there. Okay. Didn't mean to. I'm sorry, guys. But so those are the kinds of things you want to do. So we want to burn the ship of having those ideas that are just not conducive to our financial success. I have those 4 plots of land right now that I can literally sell if I ever get that hard up for cash. That is a hard asset that I have. Okay. Now we also want to talk about, physical assets. It could be precious metals. It could be if you collect cars, maybe, even watches. But I'm always a little skeptical about watches because we don't know what the actual cost of it, the cost. We don't know what the cost is going to be for those things in the years to come. So I don't recommend doing things like that. We want to invest in assets that are going to help us in this moment based on our lifestyle, right? So investing in some Louboutins is not as smart as investing in a half acre with maybe 1 or 2 of your closest friends or some people that you meet at a business meeting. Okay. Let's talk about it. So last of the winners, firms who can cut real wages. That's a big one. So these are companies that are going to look for redundancies. right? They're going to lay people off. Those are the winners when inflation happens. All right. So these are areas that I want us to start thinking about in the year 2023, because this is going to be conducive to our success. Once again, you guys, if you're still here watching, I want you to like the stream. It takes a second. And again, like they say, the likes are free. And you need to share this information because everybody knows somebody that might be broke and could use this game. Okay. Let me get back to my outline. All right. Now, how many people in the chat are landowners? I want you guys to let me know in the chat. I'm so curious to know if we have any landowners or homeowners in the building, Really cool conversation I had with the guy the other day. He was really thinking about filing for bankruptcy. But I told him, hey, dude, go have a conversation with your wife, because I think that, you guys are sitting on some assets and you need to use those assets to pay off some of that credit card debt. Came back to me about a week later, paid for that second consultation, baby, because he's investing in his future and in his economic, his personal economy. He decided to actually refinance the house, and he's going to take that cash and he's going to use it to pay off his debt, because he's thinking with his head straight now. That's the value of a consultation, because what I noticed as well is that we tend to stay in a echo chamber of people with the same ideas, the same thoughts, the same everything, right? And somebody the other day, I forget where I saw it, they were talking about not paying people for consultations, and why would I pay somebody to talk to them? It was a girl. She left a comment on one of my YouTube videos, right? And actually 2 lives ago, she left a comment. And there's always somebody that wants to come through and try to dash your dreams and dash what you're doing. She literally sat there and said, I don't understand why you would pay somebody to have a consultation. You just need to go Google it. Da, 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 da. What we need to also understand is that ship has to be burned as well, because don't none of y'all like to sit and read nothing. Okay. I think the average reading comprehension for the average American is like a sixth grade damn level. Have you ever sat and had a conversation with a damn 6th grader? And I'm not talking about a gifted 6th grader. We talking about an average, regular ass 6th grader. Y'all don't like to read nothing. This is why consultations exist, okay? Because you get to sit with somebody and have a thorough conversation. You get to the point. You get to tell them about issues, because it's easier sometimes to talk to somebody about your personal issues and your economic issues than it is to talk to somebody that you know. Can you imagine how uncomfortable that conversation is with him and his wife, where he has to talk to her about being over $100,000 in debt, and now he's worried about how he's going to pay it off? Do you think that's a fun conversation he's having with his wife? No, right? And that's a conversation where he knows how it's going to go. So he has to get outside perspective. So he came to me. I gave him some ideas. He marinated on it. And then he called me back to tell me that he came up with a solution. He paid me to tell me about his solution and get my feedback on it. Okay. So that is a ship we got to burn. Stop thinking that you can't reach out and that you shouldn't reach out to people to just get that extra insight. Right. And yes, you're going to have to pay for it, because we all got to make money here. Okay. We all got to make money. And the little cost that somebody charges you for a consultation, please, it does not compare to the value that you're going to get in your life. And like I told Diamond Dave on the live stream that I was on his show a few weeks ago, we are severely underpriced. I just saved somebody from bankruptcy. I just saved a guy from bankruptcy, right? That's not even that. Oh God. Anyway, let me stop. Let me woosah. Anyway, burn that ship, y'all. Okay. Thinking that not paying somebody is the better way to go. The whole point of this live stream is for you to stop going in circles. At some point, you are going to have to get off this merry-go-round. You're going to be a little dizzy. Okay. But once you get over that, you're going to have to pick a direction and walk in it. Okay. Now, we're not going to be here that long tonight, y'all. So if you want to drop some super chats, I'm open to those. If you want to Cash App, here is the Cash App right here, because you need to go ahead and support the channel so I can keep bringing y'all some content. Okay. Now, we already talked about, oh, you know what? The other thing I wanted to tell you guys about is we want to start this year thinking about more creative ways to make money. So we talked about how getting another job or increasing, getting a second job. That's another way that you can take care of the money issues that you're having in this economy as well. Because again, a lot of you are in the same spot you were in 2019, because if you were not working, then your income earning potential, or whatever your minimum asking rate probably was in 2019, you probably haven't even adjusted that for inflation. So when you're going on these job interviews, you're not even asking for more, right? You're not even asking for more. But the other thing I wanted to point out was that there are some industries that I want you guys to start looking at, because a lot of industries have actually started to boom since the pandemic that we haven't even really considered. So I have an article about some of those. So let me see if I could pull one of those up right now, because I think you'll be kind of interested to know about some of these industries, because they actually make sense. Because I mean, when you look at it, we were all kind of sitting at home for 2 years and we didn't have nothing to do but look at the dark mirror, or the black mirror, as they say, which is your phone or your computer or your TV, right? So according to this article here, e-commerce was a really big thing that blew up. Because as you guys know, I mean, we had to basically start doing things online. A very smart group of the population was buying courses, and they were investing in educating themselves and furthering some things. Sorry, I'm looking at something else here on another screen. So they had to start looking at ways to make themselves more economically viable. Y'all already know that's my favorite term. Watch the movie Falling Down. Von D. Curtis Hall is standing outside talking about he ain't economically viable. That was pretty funny. But anyway, e-commerce was huge, right? So it says here, consumers spent an estimated $861.12 billion in online stores in 2020. That is insane, y'all. So it says that represents a 44% growth over 2019. So if you did not get in the e-commerce game, I would venture to say that it's still not too late. This is something that you could do. Now, I don't recommend drop shipping because I don't know too much about it, but there's nothing stopping you from creating your own e-commerce economy. Right? There's 1,001 ways that you can do that. And we're going to talk about maybe a couple of those. Let me give you guys a couple of ideas, because I was thinking about this the other day, because I'm actually going to be doing a presentation on someone else's live stream this weekend, actually. So it's going to be behind a paywall. So, people won't have access to it, but there is, still some space here in the e-commerce world. Let me see what I got going on here. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, we're keeping it over here, but I'm trying to take it off the screen. Oh, I see what I'm doing wrong. Sorry, y'all. Technical difficulties. Bro, and this thing keeps telling me that my subscription for Microsoft is like canceled. No, it's not. We literally just paid for it. All right. So those of you that have online skills, you need to be getting into the e-commerce economy by selling courses. You could do an online tutoring business if you're a teacher of some sort, or if you have some sort of skill that you can teach folks. You need to get out there, right? Virtual assisting. If you're good at scheduling, if you're good at keeping people in check, you tell your husband what to do all day. Why not get paid to do that for somebody else, right? You could be their virtual assistant. You could literally, have this person's schedule set up and y'all. Anyway, so e-commerce, that's a big one. Okay. So gaming companies was another thing. Now, I actually started investing in gaming stock in 2020. Number one, because I actually have a relative. One of my brothers is a social media marketing director for a very big esports company. And he's been doing that for years. I mean, he's running around with those international teams and stuff. I mean, the kid is gifted, and I shouldn't call him a kid. He's like in his 30s now, but he is making buku money because this industry has shot through the roof, so kudos to him. But it says global video game revenue neared 180 billion in 2020. I'll tell you one thing, my brother never stopped working. The kid barely sleeps. Okay. So gaming is something big. Now, I don't know that there's a big space for a lot of my demographic to get into that because based on the information on my channel, you guys about 24 to 45 years old watch me. So I don't know how many of you guys are gamers to the extent that you want to try to make money from it. But that is something that you could do. Hunting, I don't know how comfortable you all are with shooting and things like that. I'm totally with it. I think it's totally fine. Cleaning services, you could be doing janitorial right now because whether or not you want to be around people, if you're an introvert or extrovert, cleaning services will work for you because offices, these people are still trying to keep folks in offices now. So you could be doing cleaning. You could start a little cleaning business because service businesses are going to be where it's at. Don't play with me. Okay. Some of this is as far as burning our ships, we are going to have to stop with the ego thing. There's nothing wrong with scrubbing a freaking toilet. You scrub your own toilets at home. You wash the skid marks out of your man's drawers, right? You could do this for other people. Now, maybe not the skid marks, but even with that, how about this? You could actually have a laundry service, and I'm going to give you some game and then I'm going to shut up. You could literally, if you're like how our apartments are set up out here, I know they're like this in Texas too. If you have a washer and dryer in your unit at your apartment, why aren't you starting a laundry service? Why are you not starting a laundry service, especially if you don't pay water in that apartment building? You could be charging people to do laundry in your house. You go pick it up, obviously, and then you wash it, fluff it and fold it and deliver it right back to their door. You mean to tell me you can't take an hour or two and do something like that? I'm all about creativity here. So again, burn your ships. You need to stop, wanting things to be easy, because what's going to happen, because the dust has settled from 2019, we have to get out of the mindset that we can't do it or we're too good to do it, right? We got to get out of that, y'all, because that doesn't exist anymore, especially not if you are in a lower income bracket. Okay. That's just not how life works. Okay. So delivery, we all know about delivery services. Now there's a gazillion types of delivery services. It's not just grocery delivery. Remember, we're talking about industries that boomed during the pandemic and they continue to thrive because people have been accustomed to doing them. And not only that, there's been an influx of people that are starting to go into these gig economy type businesses. So delivery. Let's talk about food. People are still delivered. Now, we're not talking about the Andrew Tate kind of delivering and shuffling people around. We don't mean that kind of people delivery, but transportation, moving a person from one place to another, right? Transporting for medical, transporting, like my stepdad. He's a retired Marine, but he can't sit down. And he got to support my mama. So he's out there now doing the little senior citizen bus driving where he takes the seniors from point A to point B to do grocery shopping and stuff. Right. He got to do that. He has to stay young and spry. That man. Anyway, let me be quiet because my mama going to get me. Hey, but she be chilling. She be sitting at home chilling like a villain. Right. But delivery. Medical supply businesses, right? You could do a delivery service that way, because with the advent of automation as well, you got to remember a lot of these companies are totally eliminating some of these positions that they used to have to where now you can slide in as a strictly delivery person. And who says that Uber has to be the only delivery service in town? You could start a delivery service in your neighborhood. How about that? Okay. Telehealth services, you guys, it's been so crazy. I have not seen a doctor physically for a very long time. Every time with my insurance, I'm able to do telehealth to where if I know what medication I need, which I'm only on asthma medication, it's like if I need my asthma medication, all I have to do is get on the screen or do a phone consultation with a doctor. My prescription gets called into the pharmacy. And I already have my money set aside for my healthcare expenses. So I would just use the money that's dedicated to that and go get my prescription. Right. So telehealth is a big thing as well. Now, along with the telehealth, there's actually an extension that I want y'all to think about, an extension of this idea where you can actually be a 1099 call center rep. Now, there's a whole website that talks about that, but I'm not going to talk about that because that stuff I will put behind a paywall because you guys really need to get out and start researching some of the things that you want to do so you can start burning these ships. We're talking about making more money, okay? Home fitness equipment. We're not going to talk about Peloton because they're already in some doo-doo. But it says fitness equipment sales rose by 130% year over year between March 2019 and March 2020. Y'all, it's insane. Okay. It says benches in particular, benches saw a 259% increase in this time frame. That's insane. So that means the dudes was out here lifting weights, y'all, and the women was doing it too. Okay. So when we talk about I don't have an idea, I don't know what I want to do with myself, there's no industry that's booming right now. You guys, no, that's not the case. Okay. You got to remember also, burning your ships, you are not the only person that's doing this right now. You got to take a cue from some of these businesses because these businesses are burning their ships as well. Here's what they're doing. Okay. They're redirecting and restructuring all of their companies. Okay. It's not even safe to be a damn C-suite executive anymore. We know our boy from Bed Bath and Beyond, you know, he jumped to his conclusion. All right, I didn't mean to say that, y'all. He jumped out of a window, which, you know, his conclusion was hitting the ground. So he jumped to his conclusion simply because the sales were down and he wasn't prepared, because when these CEOs get hired, they get hired basically having to sign on, like they sign these, documents and stuff where they get their stock packages, but they get their bonuses from excelling and from reaching these goals that the company sets forth for them. Now, some of them, they just shuffle and go to another company if they know it's not going to work. But which I think the PayPal guy just did that. He went to Walmart. So that's what happens. And a lot of people don't understand that either. CEOs and the way that their compensation structure is that your CEO, your basic CEO, only makes about $750,000 base. Where they get into the millions of dollars is in their stock packages and their options and the bonuses are really where the bulk of their income actually comes from. So like I was saying, I want you guys to start thinking like a business and treating your life as such. They're burning their ships. They're doing things differently. You got to start doing that too. Okay. They're reducing overhead, which means that they are firing. They are evaluating productivity, right? They've made promises to shareholders. And if they're not able to make those or keep those promises, they have to cut heads. All right. Heads are going to roll. And the same thing needs to apply in your life. If there are people in your life right now that need firing, go ahead and evaluate those relationships and burn those ships, baby. I'm all about burning a damn bridge, especially if you know you're not going back. That puts more pressure on you to actually succeed and do better. All right. So I'm not saying burn every bridge out there, but some of them, y'all, come on. You know, there's people in your life right now that you got to let go of. Again, these companies are restructuring. You need to restructure as well because the dust is settling. Okay. It's just something that you have to do. Now, in the old days, these companies offered payouts, retirement options, but now they literally just skip out and just say, okay, well, you're redundant now. There's nothing that we can do with you. So they let you go. And then you know what they do? They hire on nationals. They hire on H-1B visa holders. That's what they're doing right now. But because a lot of these people, due to the tech layoffs, I'm kind of segueing here, but because of the tech layoffs and because of the restructuring, a lot of these people only have about 30 to 60 days to find new jobs, or else they're going to get deported. And when they get deported, there's going to still be a need for these people in the tech space, because what happens sometimes with these companies is that they hire help. Because remember what happened in 2020, we had an influx of people getting onto e-commerce, getting onto websites, doing a lot of apps. A lot of apps were created and social media platforms were created during the pandemic. So we had to have people actually develop these, had to have, the techs in the background when things went wrong. We had to have security, cybersecurity, all kinds of stuff. So there was a need for all of these people. But now, again, because the dust has settled, they're gone now. We don't need them anymore. Right? So I want you to look at the big picture when you think about this entire thing, because it's so funny. The internet has you thinking that the tech layoffs are predominantly Americans. That's true to a certain extent, but for the most part, they got rid of their visa holders, okay? Because these people work for cheap, okay? But the companies are restructuring. So when these positions are vacant now, believe me, technology is always innovating. It's always, somebody new is always going to be needed, right? So there is an opportunity for, American workers to get into these positions, but you have to have the skill set in place, which means, again, you got to burn the ship of being lazy. You have to burn the ship of thinking that you know everything right now. Your knowledge is not all encompassing. Mine is not all encompassing. I know some things that you don't know about credit. You may know something that I don't know about horses. I don't know. Okay. So this is what we're talking about, restructuring. Okay. The American economy, these American companies are restructuring. You have to restructure. Okay. So take inventory. Automation. We got to start automating our lives as well. All right. Because that's what's going on in the industries, every industry. Right. I left a comment on Erica Williams' live stream the other day talking about how I walked into the Michael's craft store. Do you know in the Michael's craft store, they have self-checkout kiosks? What a bad idea that is. Now, I live in a small town as it is. In this small town, these people, retail is a big thing because I'm in a college town. These kids need these jobs. But because they don't have the foresight, even though they're taking economic classes and statistics and things like that, it still isn't sinking in for them that the automation coming in, yes, it makes their lives easier. Yes, they're accustomed to it because they are kids of a certain generation, right? They're younger, they're Gen Z. And the alpha generation, that's a new one that's out now. The alphas are actually younger than Gen Z. So these kids are here and they're not understanding that the lazier they are and the more they're leaning on the technology and the automation, the more they are essentially unworking themselves out of a job, right? They don't get it because they don't have that emotional maturity to see it, and they're not able to put two and two together and realize that that is what they're doing, right? So these companies are taking advantage of that as well. But back to automation. You want to make your life as automatic as possible. So if there's areas in your life that you can automate, then go ahead and do that. Case in point, because there are going to be people out there that want to automate their life, there's an opportunity for you there too. So let's talk about that. Let's go back to my laundry example. Did I not tell y'all that you could start a laundry business? I don't like doing laundry. I have a comforter right now that I have to go take to a laundromat because it's not going to fit the washer because I have a king size bed. All right. I sleep like a starfish. I don't really sleep like a starfish. I'm a side sleeper, but I start out like a starfish, and it's a big ass comforter, right? And it's white. So I have to take that big old thing and take it over to the laundromat. I would so much rather have somebody come and pick it up, go wash it wherever the hell they wash it, and just bring it back nice and clean and smelling pretty. Okay. I would pay money for that because I want to automate my life because I don't want to take time and go over to the laundromat. Right. So there are ways you can think about how you want to automate your life and then apply that and create that service yourself. Okay. That's what I'm getting at with the automation. Okay. Provide that service for people. Okay. Now, tonight, I was also going to kind of get into, just 3 things that you really need to take into account going into 2023. Now we're here. We're not even going into it. We are here. Again, remember, guys, like the stream since you're here, and let me know if you're getting any information out of tonight's stream. I truly hope that you are. But there's 3 things that you need to remember. You're going to be moved. Okay. If you don't change anything, if your money stays the same, you are going to be moved. You are going to be living literally in the urban sprawl. I talked about that on a previous live stream. Okay. Urban sprawl is literally the city branching out into the suburbs and into no man's land. You are going to be part of that. Okay. You're going to end up being one of those people that has to drive 50 miles to get to your $12 an hour job. Okay. That's going to be you, right? You're going to be moved. Okay. The cost of goods has gone up 10%, give or take, in the year of 2022. We're not that deep into 2023, but the cost of goods and just everything has gone up at least 10%. Your cost of living increase at your job for your wages has only gone up 3%. Do you see how the math is not mathing now? So you're going to be moved. All right. The second thing, you're going to become redundant. Okay. Automation, we talked about it. If you do not revise your talent, if you do not call Mentor Shelly, who's on the channel all the time, to get your resume put together, you are going to become redundant. Okay. Get your skill set up. Whatever the next level is in your profession or your industry, hop to it. Okay. Just go ahead and study it. All right. Hop to it. I would do a lot more Section 8 videos on this channel, but I don't think that there's a lot of you that are actually in that industry. So I don't know how helpful it would be, but I'm even starting to see with the Section 8 knowledge that I have to branch out and go into a whole nother part of the industry, which is called tax credit, because most companies are now getting tax credits to create and invest in new construction properties, new construction apartment buildings, and they're getting tax credits to move in people with lower income and having them pay lower amounts of rent. So instead of having Section 8 pay part of their mortgage, they're getting tax credits back. That's how they draw their income, right? And they're still getting new construction done on their properties. Now, there's an entire process that goes to qualifying these tenants and leasing up these units. I have to learn that program. I've totally worked in it, but it intimidates the crap out of me, right? So that is something that I don't know. And I know to stay economically viable in the affordable housing industry, I have to learn that program, because then I can continue to work independently with property owners as an auditor. Okay. I would be remiss to not think that that's something that I have to do. All right. So we talked about you're going to be moved, you're going to become redundant. And number 3, you're going to get old. They say that the average amount that you need right now per year to retire is $62,000. That's for one person. How many of you think that you're going to have a $62,000 retirement? Okay. Social Security is not even going to be around when I'm of retirement age. I got a good another 30 years to be out here in the workforce. If I do the regular retirement age, y'all, it ain't no game out here. So you're going to cost money in your old age as well. So we're going to bring it back down to you manosphere men and you single ladies that say that you don't need no man. Listen, you're going to get old. Somebody's going to have to take care of you. If it's going to be one of these nurses shaking their butt on TikTok, good luck. You're going to die your first year in that nursing home. Okay? Because you didn't have enough money to be able to afford assisted living. You couldn't afford an assisted living apartment because those are expensive. You can't afford for somebody to bring you your food and your medicine and all that good stuff and give you massages. Okay. You can't afford it because you didn't take the time to burn your ships like I'm talking about right now. You didn't take the time. All right, guys. So anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about tonight. I had a ton of numbers that I wanted to bring to you guys, but I'm going to keep this under an hour because I'm burning ships this year. I'm not giving y'all more than an hour of content for free because y'all don't appreciate it. You don't appreciate free, but I appreciate each one of y'all that came in here tonight. And if you're still here, like the stream, okay? Share this with somebody that you think can find it helpful. And let's go ahead and show you the consultation links before we get out of here. You're going to go ahead and go over to mycreditcall.com. And I'm going to go ahead and put it in here so you guys can go over and book your consultation. All right. So mycreditcall.com right here. We're going to go over to the website and I'm going to show you guys how to book. And then I'm going to get on out of here. We're going to skedaddle. If you have any credit questions, be sure to drop them in the chat. I'll be sure to address some of them maybe the next time I get on because I only got like a minute and like 45 seconds before I got to get off because I got to keep my promises that I make to myself, y'all. The next time I come on, though, I'll stop talking quicker so we can actually talk. All right, so here is mycreditcall.com. You want to schedule your call today. I actually edited my prices since the last time because I recognized that I didn't actually change it. And one of y'all booked a consultation after I was supposed to change my rates. So, homegirl, you know who you are. You slid through the cracks, girl. Good job. All right. Good job. Because, yeah, you got that half price. Anyway, We do 4-hour coaching, which is 1 hour, 4 times in 30 days. That's a $697 package. Of course, there's payment arrangements that you can make on that as well, but you got to email me and let me know. We can talk for 15, 30, or 60 minutes, whatever floats your boat. So go over to mycreditcall.com and let me know what you want to talk to me about. All right. Budgeting, credit. I don't care what it is. All right, guys. But anyway, don't forget to let me know where you're watching from. Drop your city or your state in the chat. And yeah, let me know what you guys want to hear about. All right. Once again, I'm praying for the manosphere. You know, like I said, they're growing like weeds, but they're dropping like flies. So I'm gonna pray for y'all. Anyway, guys, I hope you found this video helpful, and I will definitely see you sometime later on this week on another live stream. Credit